got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
Conversate with Us Radio presents the Man Listen Show. We are the blackest radio show on the internet. We bring you our opinion on topics that affect the black community in the effort to enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister that falls under the sound of our voice. We operate on a no-hating frequency, so be prepared for us to keep it 100% real and 100% black all the time. Please go to our Facebook and Instagram at Man Listen Show. You can go to our website, www.manlistenshow.com, listen to past episodes, and make sure you go to YouTube, click that bell icon so you can be notified of upcoming episodes. And just make sure you tell everybody about the blackest radio show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. I'm your host, Mark B. Let's bring the crew in. All right, we got a new look. What's up, y'all?
What's going on?
Hey.
It's all good. It's all good. We told everybody that we're going to be trying some new things with the show. Make sure you go to our IG. There's a little cash app. You can bang some money to us. You know what I mean? So we keep investing in the show and all that. But listen, man. Now, I've been a big fan of this dude, and a lot of people have not. Pastor Jamal Bryant. So a lot of people hate on Jamal because, you know, obviously he's a pastor. He's had a history of, you know, being lecherous and cheating on his wife and, you know, problems with women, you know, not sexual assault, but just he, you know, messing with a lot of women or whatever. And, you know, people have been down on him. Now, one thing that you cannot say about Jamal is he's been down for black people. He's always been at the forefront of the struggle, speaking out for the black community. And most recently, he came to light a year ago when he came to the forefront with his, now he's calling it a Target fast. It was the Target boycott. Now it's like the Target fast, right? So last week, he went on social media and he said, all right, fast is over. Fast is over. We had 4 things that we asked for, and we got 3 of the 4 from Target. So we're calling out the fast. So immediately people was like, yeah, he must have got paid off. Because, like, what did Target do that made, you know, us want to say, okay, we about to go back now? So people called him out, and then we'll see, what I didn't know was that there was already a local Target boycott by community activists and organizers in Minnesota, right, with their own separate demands. And then Jamal Bryant, Tamika Mallory, they all came along, and it became a national thing, right, because they had the national notoriety. So when he said, hey, listen, we called off the fast, the local organizers, Nikema Levy, yeah, she's one of the ones that most outspoken. I saw her Roland Martin talking about this. She was like, no, what are you talking about? Like, how are you speaking for us when we are locally here in Minnesota and Target hasn't even addressed any of the things that we've talked about? And so, you know, you're unserious and people should not be listening to him. And so it created a lot of confusion. Jamal came out and apologized for what he did because he said he didn't read the room and he spoke out of turn. And it's just really been a kind of a stain on his reputation, even though he apologized. And ultimately, I think the black community falls behind because there's just confusion, right? Nobody knows what's going on. So let's start from the top. First of all, were y'all boycotting Target? And then second of all, what did you think when you saw Jamal say, hey, boycott is over?
I wasn't boycotting, but I also don't shop there really. So, you know me, I hate saying I'm boycotting something by doing something I was already doing anyway. So my stuff comes from Amazon for the most part, just because I don't have time to go into the stores and shopping and stuff like that. But when I heard him say the boycott was over, I just shook my head because it was like, fast. That don't even make sense. And then I hate when people tell other people when to end something. And then if you're going to say we got 3 of the 4 things, what are the 3 things? And who was asking for these 4 things? Like, who approved this list of demands that you claim have been satisfied? So yeah, I think you got paid off, but y'all know how I feel about pastors being at the forefront of anything anyway. So
Well, I don't know about that because we had Martin Luther King.
Yeah, right. We talked about it
A lot
before.
of other ministers that did a lot of good things for the community. So I can't rock with you on that. But some of the things he's talking about, he wanted $2 billion invested in black business. He wanted $100 million going into community organizations that impact the black community, an investment in HBCUs, and then he wanted them to invest in black banks, which is honorable things. Those are worthwhile demands. Now, he said what they did not achieve was the investment in black banks, and they were 95%, according to Target's reports, towards the $2 billion commitment to black businesses. So that's what he was asking for. So, Lav, what did you think?
Yeah, well, I was someone who was participating in the fast.
It started out as a 40-day fast, and then
it started out as a
like
40-day fast, and
400-day boycott. Yeah,
and it I will say this: I was a heavy Target shopper. I got rid of my Target credit card. I got rid of it. I haven't set foot inside of there since this fast started. I will say that it kind of made me realize, I guess I really don't need to go into Target as much as I used to go into it. So while the fast, the boycott, whatever is over, I still probably won't go back, as nearly as frequently as I used to go. And not anytime in the near future I can see myself going there.
Yeah, I don't see myself going. And, the thing that bothers me about a lot of people, and, Erika says some of these things, but I know where Erika's coming from, right? Her stance on, well, if I wasn't going, if I don't watch, how can I say I'm boycotting? Okay, I get that. But there are some people that just like, no, I ain't never stopped going. Like, fuck what y'all talking about. I'm going to do what I want to do. And there's some people who are like, well, Target ain't ever been bad to me. Right. So, why would I boycott? And then there's the, well, why Target? Why not Amazon? Why not such and such? And here's the reality of it all, right? The way our economy is set up and the way our community is set up, and I'm talking about the black community, we are not producers in general, right?
Right.
We have small businesses, but we don't have farms. We're not producing food. There's not really that many black owned grocery stores that we can en masse as a black community nationally just move our business to these sites or whatever, right? So you have to make an example out of somebody. You have to show that, okay, listen, we can have solidarity, we can move together, and we can make somebody an example that when you come at our community, there's a price to pay. And for me, what's annoying to me, and me and C used to talk about it all the time, shout out to C, if you don't believe in what we're doing, then just be quiet. Stand to the side.
Right.
You don't have to really, but what are you proving? What are you getting out of it by saying, hey, listen, well, I'm not doing that. And basically what happens is you're creating confusion. And that's not what we need. Do I believe that Mexicans, Asians, white people, do I feel like they're all on one accord when they're going against something? I think the rules come together on one accord for sure. But do I think everybody comes on one accord all the time? No. But what they don't do is create dissension and confusion. They will stand to the side. So that's my issue with the people that was like, well, why the boycott? Why should we do this? Now, Jamal came back and you apologized, but it is mighty suspicious. That's my favorite made up word. It is mighty suspicious, right? That all of a sudden, okay, well, all right, they did part of it, so we're gonna go ahead and call it off. And then you grandstand and you go to DC and you do this video promotion in front of the Target sign. Like, why they need your promotion?
Right.
It didn't make any sense to me.
Well, and another thing though that's kind of, the local organizer saying he don't speak for us and all this. You put yourself in that interesting position when you let someone who has more reach kind of co-opt your message. And so for them, while he might not have been the one that started it, if it were not for him, it probably wouldn't have been as publicized as it was. And so then, you put yourself in an interesting position when you let someone else take that power of your message, and you really haven't dealt with that person and said, hey, this is what we want. We're not going to end until this. And they kind of have free reign to do what they want when they want. And they're doing negotiating separate from yours. And it just speaks to something they're not the first person and won't be the last people who need someone to further their message, but you're not necessarily aligned with that person. And that's where that's kind of a conundrum. What do? Do you keep your message small and don't have the reach, or do you let someone else who has a larger platform kind of be the face of it? And then when they take a misstep or do something you don't like, then you have to come in and be like, no, he doesn't speak for us. Well, you let him speak for you for a year.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that, because that's pretty much what happened in Ferguson. Like, the people who were actually boots on the ground had a vision that turned out to be different than the vision that was kind of put forth by the public people. But I mean, I don't know if we could have had the nationwide reach that we did have, like you said, if it wasn't people who kind of stood in that spotlight. But even with standing in the spotlight, I think that there's something to be said about making sure that you still keep your voice and your agenda separate. And so when they say things, you say, well, this is what they're asking for, but this is what the grassroots or whatever is asking for. So I think you can let people further the cause and further the reach without letting them speak for you per se, or making sure that you have a distinct voice separate from theirs, so that, when this happens, people aren't confused about where you stand. And you can say, hey, this is what our agenda is. We're not ending until this is what happens. And then just kind of make sure that you separate what it is you're trying to do from whatever it is that the people who are, reaching the larger crowds are trying to do.
Shout out to Cover Girl in the chat saying hello, Marby, B Lab, and Erika. Yeah, I think what we learned from Ferguson was that the local organizers definitely had a different agenda than those who came in from a national perspective. I don't like to question the motives of everybody that was involved, but I know that the people locally, they had a vested interest. They lived there day to day. They had been terrorized by the police in the area of Ferguson and St. Louis County on a day-to-day basis. So there was a palpable sense of emotions that that when Mike Brown was murdered, they wanted a change. They were speaking out for a change. So then you had national people come in, and then it becomes, well, okay, the corporate media, they know, okay, well, we can go talk. What's the boy, D-Ray? We can go talk. Was that his name, D-Ray McKesson? Or was that's the comedian? What's the boy's name? The dude that always wear the little blue vest.
It's definitely McKesson.
Yeah, but it's something, right? So you have these national.
I think it's D-Ray or Del Ray.
Yeah, I think it's D-Ray. Yeah, I think it's D-Ray. So you had these people come in, and then what was our boy that got? He was one of the people that got murdered. He was dude. He was speaking out. He was calling out D-Ray and all those dudes. Oh my gosh, what was
Darren Sims?
Darren Sims. He was a real one. So he was calling them out like, y'all coming here for the news coverage. Y'all be on TV. Y'all not really communicating with us. Y'all not down with us. Y'all not really with the struggle. So when I saw Nikema Levy, she was on Roland Martin, and she was irate because she was like, how are you all going to take over for us when this is the movement that we started? We started this locally. And I think it's incumbent upon people with a national platform to work with the local organizers to make sure that the message is on one accord, there is no confusion, and you're not co-opting what's going on. Because what happens is then people start to question your motives. Then people start saying, hey, listen, did you get paid? And Jamal said, he said, I did not get paid. I did not get paid. Okay, but then my question is, then what do you get out of it? Target got their money. Yeah, they suffering, because of the boycott, or whatever. But at the end of the day, they still got their money.
Right.
We don't have anything. And one of the things that the local organizer was saying, I can't remember the young man's name, but there was an African brother who was unjustly tried for murder, right? And Target somehow, some way had invested money to really help that case move forward and to get him convicted unjustly. So they wanted them to atone for that. They wanted them to atone for the DEI, for them backing down from DEI. And I think there was one other thing that they were asking for. And they were asked, well, have you met with Target's leadership? And they said, why? Why are we going to meet with them if they haven't addressed any of the things that we've asked them to address? So no, the boycott isn't going on. I find it really very funny that Tamika Mallory and the other sister that was down with Jamal Bryant, they was like, "No, we still ain't going to Target."
Right.
Then it morphs into. I'm gonna let you jump in, Lab. Do you have black men overriding black women? That's what it evolves into, and that's what I'm starting to see in social media. It's like there's another example of black men not supporting black women, which is some bullshit because this black man ain't going to Target. That black man right there cut off his Target card, ain't going to Target. So to make that sweeping generalization is some nonsense. But you do have to be cognizant if you're somebody like Pastor Jamal Bryant and how it looks, the optics.
Right.
And I think also though there was, because before this even came out, probably within the last, maybe month or a month and a half, maybe on Threads or something, I had saw, little conversations going, and people were like, this Target's the only thing, and I really need this for my kid. It's the only place and people were trying to, and so, this the thing is, if you are in a place where there isn't another large box retailer, and I mean, I think maybe those people have continued to go, and to me, no shade, like you said, we all got to do what we got to do, right? But I almost wonder if he was like, you know what, I've been overwhelmed, or a lot of people have been asking me like, hey, in my neighborhood there's a Target here, there's not a Walmart for 15 miles, and I can't get to Target, I can't get to Walmart, or I can't get to, I don't know, whatever grocery store. And most grocery stores don't sell household items like a Target will have groceries and household items, small appliances, clothing, everything. So
yeah, but I think that there are more Dollar Generals and Family Dollars or whatever in those rural areas than there is, you know what I mean, a Target or a Walmart. And I think that Walmart intentionally goes to those rural areas, but so does the Dollar Tree and whatever, the dollar store and stuff like that. They all do it too. So I think that there are options. I think it's just a matter of changing your routine to do what you said you was going to do. And that's what most people don't want to do.
Hey, I'm not buying a steak from Dollar General. I'm just telling you, they got them in there. They got them at Dollar Tree. They got steaks at Dollar Tree.
No, I wouldn't either.
So listen, people are hurting right now.
Inflation, that too.
The roof. This war that Trump started got gasoline prices. They jumped like 25%, something crazy. I know
more than that.
Normally to fill my truck up is around $55-$60. Last time I filled it up, it was like $80 something.
Yeah.
Just in a week, And when you got people who drive to work, people who, and I don't understand, like people that got small children, like the small babies don't eat that much. When they start getting like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and all that, and you got to feed them every day, it's tough, man. It's tough out here. So, I think that those people probably aren't going to Target anyway, because Target is more, we call it Target. It's the bougie store, right? So really, if you're still shopping at Target, man, that's just because you want your creature comforts and you like going in, smelling the popcorn and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? So
I don't agree with that, because I think there's Target, especially the super Targets that are groceries, have a lot of groceries, and you can't get a full grocery store item at a Dollar General, a Dollar Tree, Family Dollar. You just can't.
I'm not debating.
They got grocery stores,
I'm not debating that point though. What I'm saying though is that Target is not low cost. So even if you're going there to shop for groceries, there's got to be a cheaper option somewhere. Target is not a low cost store. It never has been.
No, but I mean, food prices are generally the same. I mean, for the most part, 7 cent difference in mayonnaise or something. I mean,
Mm.
I don't know that. There's a
hey
reason
man,
why.
I do the
There's a
grocery
reason why
shopping in my house, man.
There's a reason why Aldi's was in business.
Right.
Now Aldi's done got a little bit bougie.
Exactly.
Cause listen, somebody told me like when you go to like other countries, Aldi's is more high end. It's here where we was like, man, Aldi's on some bullshit. She said Aldi. Look, we black, so we call it Aldi's.
Hey, you get your fruit rounds. You don't get the Fruit Loops. You get the fruit rounds, man.
Right.
Right. I remember my ex-wife came. She was like, man, they just built an Aldi. Aldi's. I'm gonna let you correct me. They just built the Aldi's, man. I got all this stuff. I said, man, don't you ever buy no bring no Aldi's in my shit. Just because, like, back in the day, growing up, Aldi's had the stuff that was like, you buy some chicken from Aldi's, it may expire. Like if today is the 18th, it's gonna expire on the 20th.
You gotta use the same day.
you gotta go shop and cook. You gotta cook it as soon as you get home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, my thing though is this. With Jamal, I don't think that this taints his reputation 100% for me. It's a blemish, but I'm also somebody that doesn't expect everybody to be perfect. I can't prove that he sold out, and based on his track record and how he has stepped to the plate for the Black community and called out the powers that be and used his influence to help empower and enlighten the Black community like we do on this show, I'm gonna give him a pass on this one. It's definitely bad optics. It definitely looks questionable, but I don't think that I'm going to 100% write him off because of this mistake that he made. What about y'all?
I mean, I don't write people off. I mean,
look, I'm a Pisces. In this Pisces season right now, I'm quick. I'll write you off in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Act like I don't know you.
I mean, you could put them at a distance or, treat them how they deserve to be treated, put them where they belong. But I mean, just to write people completely off is to make it seem like they don't have any value. And we've already stated that. I mean, everybody has some value. So, I mean, they may have to be far removed from me and what I got going on, but I don't see a reason, especially like you said, if the good deeds outweigh the bad deeds, then I mean, if he's doing what we need him to do for the community, then I'm not writing him off.
Yeah, same. And quite frankly, if he did with it, if I didn't go back and look it up when he first talked about it, if it was truly a 40-day fast, and that's what he literally said, then he's gone way beyond that. And we've taken it further than what was intended, and that's fine. And if he says the fast is over, then the fast is over. If you still want to boycott. That's not, I don't hold that on Jamal Bryant over his head.
I think the main thing though, that the lesson that we need to learn from this is that we need to be on one accord. We need to move like one band, one sound. And this level of confusion shouldn't have happened, because now you got people saying different things. People like, well, I don't know what I was supposed to do. Most people, when I see on social media, was like, we don't care what you say.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm still not going
back.
Yeah.
We ain't going back. It's a wrap. We ain't never going back. Right. And I appreciate that solidarity. I appreciate us standing for something. But I also think, we got to gatekeep who we allow to speak for us better. I trust Jamal. I trust him as much as I trust anybody that I don't know personally, right? But there's other times where people will try to speak up for us. They'll try to represent the community. And without that vested interest, right, I think, we have to question. We have to question, because we can see in the past where there have been people put into our organizations. There have been people to put in to say, hey, listen, okay, you're going to be the person to speak for the community, and they've been bought and paid for it.
Yeah.
So we have to show more discernment and gatekeep a little bit better.
And that, unfortunately, that seems to be a recurring theme these more recently. More gatekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And speaking of gatekeeping, I don't really know this dude's music, but this has been a fun. I've been, Black social media. I don't fool with Twitter, so we can't call it Black Twitter. So Black Threads.
Yeah,
they've been hilarious about this. So Jack Harlow. Now he had one song that I think I may have known. He was at. They shot the video at the Kentucky Derby, and the only reason why I knew that they shot the video at the Kentucky Derby because he was there. The Kentucky. You go to horse races. If you're outside, it's a damn horse field. It's muddy. It's grass and all this stuff. So what I remember was this Jack Harlow dude. He was there to shoot his video, and I can't remember the black rapper that he had with him, but he had his sneakers on. And he didn't want to get his sneakers dirty, so he had a black security guard, and so he had the security guard basically like carry him so that he didn't get his shoes dirty. And if I'm a security guard, they're like, "Hey man, let me hop in your back, dog, so my shoes don't get dirty." I'm like, man, who the hell are you talking to, right? Now, most people don't think like, what? He might have just been like, damn, this dude is paying my salary, and it's kind of cool. Like, I got you, dog. Just hop on. But like, again, the optics, it looks terrible. Mm-hmm. It looks terrible. So that's what I really kind of found out about him because social media got in his behind about that. But
I don't even remember that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't even remember that.
Look it up. No,
I'm not. I just, I don't even
look it up. It happened. But
I don't even know
how he's been in
videos
lately.
No more.
Dude put out a neo soul album, and it called into question how. And we talked about this on the last show. Mm-hmm. Make sure y'all go see our live episode. White artists who will use hip hop, rap to get in the door. And we allow them to because they make a catchy song or whatever. And then once they've built their notoriety, once they've established a little bit of fame, they switch. They go to country music or they go to MAGA like Kid Rock. And, you got the Jelly Rolls. And what's the other boy's name? Post Malone, White Iverson. Post Malone, Justin Timberlake. I still don't like that bastard. I'll never like that bastard. You're talking about some people are redeemable. He ain't redeemable for shit for me. How he did Janet. So, but yeah, and he what did he do? He was dancing hip hop and breaking and pop locking with everybody, Timberland and all that. And next thing he tried to do a country western album. So they asked this dude, like, okay, why you didn't go to country western route? Why you went neo soul? He was like, I got a black audience. And people are calling him out. And it's funny, man. I gotta show y'all some of this, right? All right, check this out. Music stole child. It gets better. Most definitely not. Ice Cube. Ice. Charlie Kirk Franklin. That's
no.
Protect your neck.
Kirk Franklin. Music Rothschild. IRS One. And this my favorite one. Luca Van. And then the final one, this one killed me. 106 in Park. And I had to figure, I was like, what are they talking about? 106?
Oh, January.
That's about January 6th.
Hey, Chocolate Clan.
Chocolate Clan. D'Angelo Saxon.
Yeah. Salt, no pepper.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But what y'all think, man? Are we overreacting when it comes to us gatekeeping our community, or what y'all think?
No,
You know
not
what?
overreacting.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? I don't know if it's our community as a whole per se. It's just always interesting to me how it's very niche specific to rap. Because when a white R&B artist gets in there, they don't, you know what I mean? They still stay in there if they, and they don't try to maneuver, move outside. It's just something about rap, and it almost makes me question, um, like what the dynamics are as far as the music industry when it comes to rap. It's just weird to me how it's just rap though.
So this is my opinion. I think rap has less of a barrier of entry because, not to say that rap is easy, but
Mhm.
you can be a rapper a lot easier than you can sing. Like,
Yeah, true.
you got to have chops to sing, and whether you could do it or not, yeah, they can auto tune, do whatever, right? But you got to have the talent. You have to have the talent in order to be respected and for people to really buy into you. Now, you know me, I listen. I'm like C. Shout out to C. They can't come to the barbecue.
Mhm.
Tina Marie
Yeah.
has some nice cuts. Hall and Oates got some nice cuts,
Michael
but
McDonald, yeah.
Michael McDonald. But hey, listen, there's no hall passes. You can't come through. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You stay over there. You know what I mean? So, but when it comes to rap, number one, I think rap, the barrier for entry is easier because it's easier.
Mhm.
It's easier to flow. You can get somebody to pen your lyrics. Like
Mhm.
Ti did it, Iggy Azalea or whatever.
Yeah.
There's not too
And you can
many
just
Eminem.
and you can imitate the voice a little, and the
You can
cadence
imitate,
pretty.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what white kids do when they rebel. Like, oh, I'm gonna act black, make my parents mad, and all this. All then they go to college and they join Turning Point USA,
Right.
and then they follow,
Yeah.
and then they follow, and then they follow in Charlie Kirk and all that old shit. So I think it's a lot easier for them to get in. And then honestly, again, my opinion, when it comes to R&B, people really respect the artistry. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But when it comes to hip hop, you have people, and like I said before, there's a lot of us that love white folks way too much. So when you see the little white boy, the white girl that can rap, or you can see, like your little white fraternity or sorority member, they do their little flicked step or whatever. Some of us are so excited to be like, oh, look at them, they hosts and all this old shit. It just don't work.
No. Yeah, because there's a way to do it. There's lots, like you say, R&B artists who are white who make good music, but they don't try to infiltrate the culture. They just
Yeah.
sing their little songs and stick to their area, their genre, whatever. And if we happen to like it, we happen to like it.
Or
But
they,
they
or
don't.
they show respect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Show. Yeah. Man, respect for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
yeah.
show respect. Like, cover girl, we hear you. Tina, you said Tina could come. John B on this show. No, they can't come. But shout out to John B and Tina Marie. They made some good
Yeah.
music
R.I.P. Tina
though.
Marie. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's how it starts.
next.
One of them come, then his auntie come. Mm.
Yeah, and and to me, it kind of says something about the state. Like you said, the barrier to entry is pretty low for hip hop, but you just said something interesting about they respect the art. They respect the art, and that's part of the reason why hip hop is how it is now. Is too many artists, and I'm not gonna say artists don't respect it because most of the artists is just trying to get paid, but the music labels and people, they don't respect it as art. So
You're
Yeah.
not wrong. And I think they
Well, I
kind of
mean,
have the music
and
industry definitely pays for them to not respect it. They handpick these people that they can, treat as puppets. That's gonna do whatever they say because they just trying to get the check, as opposed to people who's gonna rebel.
at the end of the day, it's a business.
mhm.
It's a business because I saw somebody say, like, okay, for $45,000, I can get your song on the radio. for, I'm making up the numbers, 100,000, we can get you, you get you this placement on the radio. $250,000, we can get you in the top 10 or what have you, right? So if I'm going to pay this money to get an artist on radio, how am I going to get my return on investment? Now, and if I get somebody who is white, who black people will co-sign, because what do we say? We set the trends, right? So if black people will co-sign it, then the white kids are going to listen to it. And then what are we going to do? We're going to get more streams, more record sales, and then we're going to get a better return on our investment. So for them, that's why they push that type of nonsense. Because unfortunately, some of us are going to be like, oh yeah, man, I like Iggy Azalea. And she's going to get a little money, whatever, and then she's going to fall off to the wayside.
Right.
I don't let nobody come to the cookout, but I will say that recently, Eminem has been a real one. He hasn't really sold out, but I don't give him a pass from when he was dropping that N-word back in. Now, they said when he was a kid, but I still ain't fooling with
So you ain't cutting nobody no slack.
No redemption. No redemption stories at all.
Shout out to C. Shout out to C. Cover, you said Christina. Who you talking about? Christina Aguilera? Y'all think Christina Aguilera in?
Yeah, but I don't think she's trying to.
No, she's not. Yeah, no. She can sing, but she ain't getting in.
I think she just sings.
Yeah.
I don't even think she's trying to come to the cookout.
Right, exactly.
I don't see her with no black people.
No, definitely not Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber's on Justin Timberlake level when it comes to.
Oh, for sure.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no, he can't come in. Yeah. But I saw another one where they called Jack Harlow. They called him lint condition.
Yeah.
Lint condition.
Yeah, lint condition.
We are hilarious.
Man, I saw a bunch of them too, and it's hilarious, man. Like you said, black threads and something else. Bro.
People clown though, but how many people are going to support it though?
Yeah, I purposely did not even try to listen to it. I don't even want to listen to it. I have no desire to listen to it.
I thought about it just in preparation for the show, and I was like, nah, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
I'm mad I got it in my algorithm because I was trying to look up the song that I was talking about for the video. And once you search something, and,
the
algorithm
it's in there.
Like, oh, you like this? Here's this new neo soul album. I don't want to hear that shit.
Like,
no.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that. Shit. Hey, listen, gas is high, groceries is high, and this fool Trump, he ain't showing no signs of backing down. And this war, man, I don't know if you saw it, man. We've already lost some servicemen and women in the war. And man, they showed this black mom. She was there with her family, and her son was on the refueling plane.
Mm-hmm.
And she just talked about how she was like, she didn't want him to join the military, and she talked about how proud he was, right? And it showed pictures of him doing things that he wanted to do. And she was like, well, I thought you wanted to be a pilot. He said, I could do that when I leave. So obviously he got fulfillment from it, right? So in that regard, you could say, and I'm trying not to be cold-hearted with this, he died doing what he wanted to do.
Right,
but
right.
That young man had a future ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
And to die for a war that absolutely nobody sees any sense in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody sees any sense into this war. You saw where it was Trump's counterterrorism guy. He stepped down. He was like, man, listen, this don't make any sense. So I can't in good conscience, stand behind this. And the problem is they didn't got rid of all not all, but most of the competent military leadership, because a lot of them was like, nah, this ain't. First of all, this isn't legal. This isn't right. This isn't practical, and you're not gonna tarnish my name by being a part of this.
Yeah, and you know, it's not only the military people, but I thought it was very telling. I don't know if you saw this. It was at a in the Oval Office, and Trump, you know, he's always sitting down. He always had the people standing up behind him or whatever. So there was JD Vance, and they asked him a question about what advice did you give Trump, or did you think it was 100% necessary? Was it necessary to bomb Iran? And JD Vance says, I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to drive a wedge in between this administration. And he goes on to say something. So I'm not going to answer that and all that. To me, that's a telltale sign that, hey, I'm not in agreement on this. I know we didn't have to do this strike. You know, that's the way he answered it without actually saying that. And and so I don't know what it's going to take to get somebody got to have backbone. I mean, I don't know what it's going to take.
I think he's positioning himself for when he runs for president. So if the people are against it or it turns out bad, he can distance himself from it and say it wasn't his idea.
Yeah,
how's it turn out
good? Yeah, how's it gonna turn out good?
You know what I mean? It's definitely already bad, but they always have these talking points. Oh, this is successful, and this is a great success, and this, and you know, if they can convince
because they ran on, hey, listen, we don't. All these senseless wars, we're not fighting for countries in the Middle East.
If you elect Kamala Harris, she's going to have us in war with Iran in 6 weeks, you know, and all this stuff, like crazy.
Right. And, you know, and what's even more tragic, and this really tugs on my heartstrings, is how they're doing Cuba right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they really amped up the blockade. So Cuba's total power system, they say, is a total collapse because there's no fuel. And, you know, you could just imagine how it was. Now, I visited Cuba, right? You know, when President Obama opened it up, and I think when I actually went, man, was it under Biden or was it under Trump? It was under Biden when I went, I believe.
It was under Trump when we went, yeah.
I think it was under Biden. So there's a way that you can go when it says, you know, where you're going for the benefit of the Cuban people, basically going on a humanitarian mission. And when we went, we made sure that we invested dollars with the Cuban people. We didn't give anything to the government. It was, you know, there were certain people that, you know, they give salsa lessons. They would give tours that really describe, you know, Afro-Cuban culture. They would give tours of Havana. So the money was going directly to the people. And even then we saw there was blackouts, there was scarcity, right? And what was rewarding to the group that I was with is we brought 2 or 3 massive suitcases with, you know, feminine hygiene products, over-the-counter medicine, toys for kids, and we went directly to the hood, quote unquote hood, and gave it to the people, right? Because we didn't want to get caught up on donating to some organization that may or may not get it to the people that look like us. And the other thing that really stands out about Cuba is black. Cuba is hella black. You know, to the point, like, you know, we say Afro-Cuban, and when you talk to them, they was like, why are you saying Afro-Cuban? If you say Cuban, it means black. Now, we're conditioned to think about those Cubans that left and went to Miami, the white ones, the Marco Rubios, right? When you look at the majority of Cuba, they black like us.
Yeah, when we went, it was under a Trump, because we actually went on a cruise. That was they letting you embark, and so stay overnight in the cruise ship there, and, you know, get them. So we was only there for basically a little over a day or whatever. And yeah, man, it was interesting. We did go on one of those tours, and they took us to like where they had like the they had shot down the U.S. Plane or what have you, and they had the pieces of it, and they had, you know, the whole Bay of Pigs stuff, and they had their story, which is totally opposite of the U.S.'s story about everything. We got, you know, it took us to, you know, like Che Guevara, where he stayed and all that stuff. It was kind of interesting, though. Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's crazy because, you know, I've been to Vietnam. And, you know, we call it the Vietnam War. When you go to Vietnam, it's called the American War. And, you know, when you look at social media now, depending on what side of the algorithm that you're on, you'll see how the news is reported by other people, other countries, right? Not to say that they're not putting their spin on it as well, but there are some media outlets, social media accounts that are being accurate about what's happening. Because, you know, you let Trump say it, you know, we've won, we destroyed the whole Navy, there's nothing else there. Well, first of all, you said you destroyed their nuclear capabilities last year. So why are we back again? Right?
Why? Yeah, they're close to a nuke. Yeah.
You said why are we back again when you said we destroyed it? So, you know, and I think obviously, I don't even want to say his name because I don't want to bring no attention. But, you know, the guy, Net Who, I'll just say that. Y'all can fill in the middle part.
Benji. Yeah.
BB. Y'all think he's still alive?
Yeah.
You know, there was a question for a while because they hadn't seen him, and the rules they kept putting out, like these AI videos of him, and people was calling it out. It was like, why he got 6 fingers? Like, why did his ring disappear? You know, so they was calling out. So I don't know why they were putting out these bad AI videos.
But we all have friends who are alive and well who put out AI videos as well of themselves and their businesses. So,
you know what? Taking it to a lot of topics before we end the show. The people who use AI photos on social media, like for their profile picture, and will allow folks who can't tell to compliment them and be like, "Girl, you look good. You lost weight." It's like, yeah. And then they'll actually be like, "Thank you," instead of being like, "No, that's AI."
Yeah.
Right. It's like, tell me you don't like how you look without telling me you don't like the way you look.
Man, yeah, I never understood that either. Yeah.
I don't them filters. Yeah, I remember when Arika got me caught up on the filter. We was down here in Dallas, had me up with lipstick on.
Mascara.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say the dog. You were the dog one that everybody see you.
Yeah.
Puppy filter.
I'm like, you're pretty.
No. And we was jamming too. We was jamming. I'm in the camera. I said, wait a minute, why I got eyeliner on? What? I gotta find that video.
Hey, once it's on the internet, it's there forever.
No. But anyway, listen, you know, our condolences to the family members of the fallen service members that have died in this war. You know, praying for peace, praying that this war ends. And I'm just praying for the American people because, you know, it's hard right now. It's expensive to live. You know, gas is high, food is high, and, you know, it's tough for a lot of people. And we always say, when America catches a cold, the Black community catches pneumonia. So if it's tough for, you know, us as a country, you know, it's tough for Black people, and that's our emphasis on this show, is really promoting the upliftment and advancement of Black people. So hope y'all like the new look. We got a phone number. We want y'all to start calling in, leaving voicemails. We play that on the show. Got the chat. Shout out to Cover Girl for keeping the chat lively. Shout out to everybody to watch the live episode of the Man Listen Show. If y'all got a topic that y'all want us to discuss, hit us up on our Instagram. Shoot us a DM. Let us know what you want to talk, what you want us to talk about. Arika might respond. And just don't say no foolishness because she's an attorney, so she'll go blow for blow with you. You know, but make sure you follow the show. Make sure you tell a friend about the Blackest Radio Show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. We'll catch you next time. Shout out to C.
Peace.